Welcome back, everybody. My name is Tucker, and man, that was an interesting opening night in the NBA. We're going to talk in two different videos today about some stuff that happened last night. We're going to talk first in this video about the Nets, specifically about their debut, and then we're going to talk about the Warriors in the second video of the day, which you can tell one of them is going to be pretty positive and the other is going to be pretty negative. So this is going to be my initial reaction as a fan, as a Nets fan, on this opening night sequence, what I think is going to be happening for this group throughout the season, and where this year could potentially be going for Brooklyn. But really quickly before we get started, if you enjoy content like this, then consider subscribing. I upload twice a day, every day, and it's a great place for consistent NBA content. You can also leave a like rating on the videos as well. Helps me out a ton, lets me know that you're enjoying the content, and helps it get out to more people on YouTube as well. You can also check me out at various socials at the bottom of the screen that are in a link tree down in the description below. With those things said, let's talk about the debut of the Brooklyn Nets with Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving. So I was cautiously optimistic based off what I'd seen in the preseason, because my concern wasn't really with how the team looked. My concern was with how Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving looked, both coming off of significant injuries. KD, we hadn't seen in a very long time. Kyrie, we saw at times last year be really good, and then other times just had the injury issues. And I knew that that was going to be a constant theme for this team throughout the year, and a constant storyline was, are they going to be healthy, are they not? But I just wanted to see at the beginning of the year, everybody fresh, how does everybody look? And they look great, and that carried over to last night. This offense, to this point, again, it's only been a handful of games, most of which were preseason, has far, far exceeded any expectations I would have had, especially for this early in the season. And it's interesting because it's not just shot making. Like, there's been some incredible shot making from both KD and Kyrie. Kyrie's been out of his mind, hitting, nearly half-court jumpers to finish the first half yesterday. And so some of it is just crazy, crazy shot making that these guys provide. But the other part of it is the offense is really, really nice. There's a lot of movement, and the more that they move the ball and the more that they attack, the more you realize how difficult it is to defend the multitude of options that they have on the floor at any given time, because either Jared Allen or DeAndre Jordan is going to be on the floor at all times, and you can think what you want about those players as individuals, but they're good, lob finishers, they're good threats to the rim, they're going to be nice, rim protectors, they're going to be able to crash the glass, and that's pretty much all you need out of the 5 spot at this point in the league. Then you've got guys around that can space the floor, whether it's Shamet or Joe Harris, Taurean Prince knocking down jumpers on occasion, Jeff Green looks okay, but I think really the difference maker for this group is no matter who's on the floor, you're going to have to contend with perimeter creation at a pretty high level. And not just from whatever the primary action is, just one ball screen and then that's it. There's multiple guys that are going to be off the ball. They're going to be able to attack off the dribble as well. Like, there's going to be scenarios where with that starting group, you've got Kyrie with the ball, you've got KD setting the screen, rolling to the rim or popping, you've got Joe Harris in the corner, you've got DeAndre Jordan and Jared Allen, on the baseline ready to catch the ball and dunk, and then you've got Spencer Dinwiddie on the perimeter. And you have to make a choice of, like, okay, well, let's say KD pops, you got to go contest at that. Then if you make that rotation, you swing it to Spencer Dinwiddie, and he's attacking, and he's a playmaker. He's not just some off-ball shooter guy. He's someone that can create opportunities for other people once he gets to the rim. You've got Joe Harris, one of the best shooters in the league, out there on the perimeter as well. And you always have the drop-off to the big guy available as well. And then if you change that up and you say, you know what, let's go ahead and run a traditional pick and roll with Kyrie in the center, then you've got KD off the ball that you've got to contend with on a kick out, or you've got Spencer Dinwiddie in the 5, and you've got Kyrie and KD off the ball. And those multitude of options on kickouts is going to be a huge, huge benefit for this group this year. And that's clear to me already, is that with this group fully healthy, there's always going to be offensive creativity and playmaking, and it's not just Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving, because of the fact that Spencer Dinwiddie and Karis LeVert are going to be on the floor a lot with those guys as well. It obviously starts with KD, it starts with Kyrie. This isn't a finals level team without those two guys fully healthy and at 100%, but the other guys on this roster I think fit really well. And from an offensive standpoint, this is going to be a really, really tough team to stop. I mean, it doesn't have to just involve crazy shot making and isolation play from KD and Kyrie. There's great pace here. There's great movement. There's an unselfishness already developing for this team. And I think everybody kind of has a role on the offensive end of the floor that they're comfortable with already. And that is an awesome thing to see so early in a season in which the prep time for the season was not very much at all. Now, the defensive end of the floor was something that I had concerns about coming into the year, and those concerns are definitely still there. And it's not like I suddenly think this team is going to be a defensive juggernaut. But we've talked a little bit about, this versatility that's needed with this group. Is Dinwiddie going to be enough in the starting lineup to provide that length and that versatility that they need? I think there are going to be matchups where it's going to be tough for them to guard, other teams. I think that Boston matchup specifically with Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum is going to be tough because like Dinwiddie's going to have to guard one of those guys unless you're starting someone like Taurean Prince. And that's going to be a tough matchup for the Nets. If you're playing a team like the Clippers that's got multiple really, really good wing players with great size. And so that's going to continue to be a problem. But I thought DeAndre Jordan was pretty active defensively. Jarrett Allen's a good defender at the rim as well. Those guys can cover up mistakes. As long as there's activity level on the perimeter, they're not going to be awful defensively, which with how good their offense is, maybe that's all they need. But the interesting guy to keep an eye on in terms of how impactful he is on the defensive end is, of course, Kevin Durant. Because of the length and the size that KD brings to the table, if he's locked in and he's engaged, he can be, one of the better wing defenders in the East. And that is a huge, huge addition to this group if that's what they're getting out of Kevin Durant this year. Now, is that energy and that effort level going to be sustained during the regular season or for a full postseason series? I don't know. And the fact that there's clearly a bit of a reliance on that for this group is definitely a concern. I mean, like, you can talk yourself into Taurean Prince and Jeff Green and Bruce Brown if you want to. But for me personally, that is still a concern and an issue, and that is something that has not gone away. But the activity level defensively against a Warriors team that, I mean, maybe their offense just isn't that good. But obviously, they're missing guys. But regardless, there's some signs that this Nets team might be the best team in the East. I'm not saying that's the case. This is just my night one reaction that their play to this point has wildly exceeded my expectations. I've gotten very accustomed to being pessimistic about what my sports teams are going to be doing, and I'm still in that mode for Brooklyn, but I don't know how you couldn't be excited about what this team has looked like through a handful of preseason games and now opening night as well. As long as KD and Kyrie are healthy, as long as the shot making keeps up, as long as they continue to put in effort defensively, I think they're going to be fine. And I'm especially shocked because it is a new coach, and as much as I like Steve Nash as a player and I thought that it was a good fit as a coach and I love the outside of the box hire, there was still a concern for me that this guy's going to come in and they're not going to be prepared. He doesn't know what it's like to be a head coach. It's his first time ever coaching, and he has a great staff around him. But even those concerns, for the most part, have been kind of washed away in my mind, at least initially. And it's an exciting time to be a Nets fan. Again, health is going to have a huge thing to do with this group. Maybe there is still a move to be made for Harden or otherwise, and they do sacrifice a bit of their depth. But I think just the way this roster is right now, they're going to keep rolling forward. I think there's more versatility here on this group than I had anticipated. Guys like Landry Shamet being both shooters and a guy that can create a little bit. Joe Harris, again, one of the best shooters in the league, continue to work on his game in terms of attacking closeouts. Karis LeVert as the bench guy, I think works super, super well. He's going to have the least amount of time with KD and Kyrie out of anybody because he can create and facilitate for himself. So even if Kyrie needs to take a night off one night, he can still be a really, really good perimeter creator for this team. As long as everybody still shares the ball, as long as the efficiency is there on the offensive end of the floor, I can't imagine that being a problem. And then defensively, as long as they step it up and KD's really good, they're creeping closer and closer to contender status for me, which is not something I thought I would be saying about the Brooklyn Nets, honestly, at any point this season. But that's just kind of the pessimist in me. But that's my night one reaction. And that's a really, really good. But that's going to be the end of the first of today's videos. Like I said in the beginning, we're going to be talking about the Warriors a little bit later on. Is it time to panic? Are they really bad? Are they actually as bad as they looked last night? Or are they going to be able to turn some things around? What did James Wiseman look like? All that stuff is going to be covered in a video later today talking about the Golden State Warriors from night one. But like I said, that's going to be the end of today's video, and I thank you all very much for watching. Once again, my name is Tucker. If you missed any of my previous videos, then be sure to check out the boxes on screen. Hope you guys have an awesome rest of your day, and I will see you all next time.